and welcome back to the Rugby Connection podcast, the only fan-run podcast to get all the ins and outs from the rugby world. Well, it's no longer regular. That's done. That's finished. We have semi-finals done and dusted in one league. We've got quarter-finals coming up in two leagues. So I need all the help I can get. Proud South African Devin wants us with us once again, and returning from his beautiful holiday in Portugal with all the wine, Andy. Welcome back. How are you getting on, boys? Anyone?
Yeah. Sorry, I ruined it. I spoke too early.
Cool. Don't worry.
Out of practice. But yeah, good to be back.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Devin, how are you getting on? Yeah?
Yeah, good weekend of rugby. I feel sad for the Lions, to be fair. We'll get into that into more depth, but it's been a proper weekend of rugby, and it's non-stop now. It feels like kind of all the tournaments are really just like actually starting now, because this is what we've been hoping for. Like, it's the league stage, but now it's must win every single game, which makes it glorious.
100%. Well, we're going to start with the URC because there was still so much on the line coming into this final round. And let's be honest, did not disappoint. Friday night, Leinster getting a comfy win over their rivals, Connacht, 33-7. Glasgow Warriors made themselves difficult at Scotstoun, 38-26 against Zebre. Stormers getting a narrow win against the Lions, 29-24. Benetton beat my beloved Edinburgh, 31-6. No, you've not misheard me there. Scarlets finished their season on a high in Judgment Day, 32-15 over the Dragons. Bulls, being the top dogs in South Africa, getting the win over the Challenge Cup champions, the Sharks, 26-14. Munster, with a comeback of dreams against Ulster, 29-24. And Ospreys, well done Ospreys, getting into that last eight, 33-29 over Cardiff on Judgment Day. Where do you want to start? Because there was two games going on at the same time.
No, we'll start with your team. We'll start with the mighty Edinburgh. The mighty Edinburgh. It's an utter embarrassment. Utter embarrassment. I'm not letting you loose on this one, Murray.
No,
listen.
I have
those boys were frauds. Whoever they were on the field, they were fraudulent. They should be sued by the fans. No passion, no fight, no desire. Absolutely folded over. It looked like Benetton wanted to get into the quarterfinals, and it looked like Edinburgh also wanted Benetton to get into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
There was absolutely nothing. That was shocking. That was shocking.
Long, I have sat here, even when we get defeated, like, yeah, but look at the positives. This player did well, or we were really good at this point of the game. No. I've been saying for what feels about 3-4 weeks now on the show, on TikTok, that all roads lead to this game, and it looks like our map took us fucking somewhere different. I have honestly no idea what happened. I am so angry, so hard. The only positive I found was I like when we're doing like box kicks or up and unders, and Jamie Ritchie is getting in the mix to knock it back. I like that. Keep doing that. But I don't know what happened. I don't know what the mindset was. There was no game plan. There was no tactics. A lot of drop balls. I've never seen Bill Mata that invisible in the game. Like, he is a big towering unit.
Murray, listen. It felt like I went to a morgue. Like they reeked of death.
Yes.
They got slaughtered. They got killed.
They did?
I don't know where Edinburgh was, but they died on that field. That's what happened. Like, you can be lucky you even got 6 points. I didn't even think I saw Edinburgh having the ball in Benetton's half.
Nope.
Andy, what did you think of it? Would you agree?
It was like 60% in the kind of Edinburgh 22 in the first half, wasn't it? Like, there were moments where they had the ball. Yeah. They didn't really look like they were going to do a huge amount with it. And then what killed you was just the mistakes. Like, you gave up 3 of those 5 scores from mistakes. But I will say, like, whatever about Edinburgh, they've obviously got to sort some stuff out. But Benetton were good.
Benetton were very good.
They were on it. Like, it's crazy how much they've improved over the last few years.
I mean, just to name the few that really stood out to me, Alexander Isakor. He is an absolute unit of a man. Tommy Alkmaar's at 10. Great try. Again, it was a mistake, but you have to still finish it. Ignacio Mendy. Breck. I felt Men and Chill still had a quieter game, but Breck's was causing a lot of issue. Both Canone brothers. Lorenzo when he was starting, Nicolo when he came on. Fantastic. Thomas Gallo, probably the best game I've seen.
Very good, wasn't he?
Probably since the World Cup. Yeah. Just well done, Benetton. They actually deserved it. They wanted it more. And I am happy for Benetton because we've said it all season that they are getting somewhere. They're showing that. I hate it's the fact that it's against my team, but when you look at a performance like that, yeah, stuff them.
It's great for their storyline. Like they wouldn't have been able to forgive themselves if they were in the middle of the season. They sat in fourth. To then drop out of the top 8 would have been horrible for them. Like they've made so many steps forward. You look at the way that Italy played in the Six Nations. They took some of that momentum in the URC, and obviously, like you would expect the Italian team, they will drop off, especially against the good teams. If they have a run of games, 4 or 5 games where they drop points against good teams, you kind of expect it. So they did brilliantly to stay in the top 8. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep it tight against, I think they're playing Munster now, is it? Whoever.
No, they have to go to
we'll get them done a little bit.
They're going to the, okay. Yeah, you've had a good run, but you're not winning at Loftus. You're not winning at Loftus. But yeah, like it's a great storyline for them. I do really like Benetton. I like the way they played. But Murray, this is a question for you. Surely, like when we have the discussion of the best wings in the world, obviously Duan van der Merwe pops up, right? That name comes up. But the thing that really pulls him down is his horrific defense. Yeah. Like that guy's not good at defense. If you think how big he is, Breck's handled him. I think he literally had a handle 4 times on him.
Yeah, just single-handedly absolutely bitched him. But the annoying bit is, and again, I don't know if it was just player mentality for this game or what. I've said for a long time that Duhan feels like he's getting there bit by bit each game. He's somewhat improving something. Like he's now not the best under the high ball, but compared to what he once was, he's a bit more comfortable. He's a bit better. If he can get a hold of you, he's good at holding players up for a turnover. But his actual tackling still needs a lot of work. And you know what? He might fix it. I don't know. I do feel like he is trying to, or at least wanting to improve his graft, but I don't know.
For a big guy, he has to do better when it comes to his physicality in the game. Like when he runs at players, like obviously he scores a lot of tries and stuff, but it's not like he bulldozes over people. Like people try and hang on him and he's strong running with people on his back or whatever. But when it comes to like crunching hits or bumping a player, I don't really see him doing that, right? Yeah. And you feel like with a big guy like that, he needs to do more when it comes to the physical aspect to it. That's just my opinion, what I've witnessed. I don't watch him as much as you guys do. I think he's a fraud. Obviously, ex-South African. I do like the guy, to be fair. I do like the guy. I'm just in your neck with it. But yeah.
Again, yeah.
He's a confidence player, isn't he? Like he's a confidence player. Like I heard Jim Hamilton say a while ago on a podcast, you know, if he has a good first involvement, everyone who knows him is like, oh, okay, here we go. And I just feel like I haven't seen him in that kind of mood for a while.
I think it's down to the style of play as well. And I'm not.
They don't get the ball enough. That's definitely true.
You text me that.
Yeah.
I believe the Zebra game it was. No, I can't remember. Monster game. Sorry. Yeah. That like, why don't you pass it to him often? I'm like, I don't know. I generally don't have the answer for it because it sounds like
they never look to bring him. Like I don't get it.
There's some games where he's constantly got the ball in hand. He's like almost becoming an extra centre, and then there's other games he's just standing there. I'm like, has the style been changed, or have you had a fallout? It feels like they've had a fallout. I don't know.
He would peak in like a team like the All Blacks where they give their wings space to run. Like he would never work, let's say for instance, in the Bok team that tries to keep stuff tight, for instance. I'm just using it as an example. You give him some freedom, he's deadly, right? But I feel like he doesn't have that much freedom with the Edinburgh system. Not this season especially.
You can do stuff like if you watch like the way Leinster and Ireland do it all the time to try and free up Hugo Keenan, they have little routines they run. If there's a deep kick, Doris picks up the ball and carries, and then they have a strike play where Keenan can come through. And like someone like Duan, surely you should have 2 or 3 of those up your sleeve just so you can try and set him free a couple of times a game, but you just don't see it.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what the answer is. I'd like to see more of Duhan. Of course I would, because I know it is like night and day now, especially when you've looked at. But like, put him in a Navy jersey with a thistle on it. He is one of like the best wingers on the planet.
They give him the ball.
Give him a Navy jersey with an orange castle on it, and not so much. It's the same place. We're playing the same city. I don't understand it. Anyway, moving on. Stormers Lions. Good game.
Really good.
Proper game of rugby. Shitting myself. I was shitting myself. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, the Lions deserve to be in the top 8. Like the way that they've played. If they could have started the season the way that they ended it, and I'm not even talking the way that they ended it. If they literally played the second half of the first half of the season, the way they played the first half, the second half, they would have easily been probably in the top 6 even. Like they were sensational. Like they kind of flipped the switch, and I'm gonna follow my sword here. Listen, they deserve to win that game against us. Like we beat them by scraping over the line, but overall their performance was sensational. And for them not to be in the top 8 feels horrific, right? Because we have to compare, let's say, for instance, Edinburgh played to get into the top 8. Edinburgh plays Zebra twice and Benetton twice.
Both games,
The Lions play the Stormers twice, the Sharks twice, and they play the Bulls twice. And we all know when it's a derby, form goes out of the window. You can forget about the 13th place Sharks pitching up. Look at what the Sharks did this weekend to the Bulls. That scoreline's a bit of a robbery. The Bulls did not win by that much if you actually watch the game. But yeah, brilliant game of rugby. Sasha Feinberg, I'm telling you now, that guy is going to be world class. He's going to be the best in the world after Damien Willemse. I'm telling you now.
Springbok call up in the summer then?
Well, with Willemse out, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, this might be controversial, but I have seen a couple of people say, listen, he could be the future 10 of the Springboks, but the issue is he doesn't even play 10 at the Stormers because Marnie's there, and you're not going to drop Marnie for Sasha when we literally need Sasha as fullback at the moment. But you don't want to get to that point where, because Willemse is actually a 10, right? But he switched to fullback, and you kind of don't want 2 of the same players fighting for the same position. Because if we can have Willemse on 10 and 15, that would be brilliant. And that's what you get from Sasha. But he's so raw, and he can kick, he can run, he's very physical, he's a big boy. So he could be the best 10 in the world. I'm calling it now. Not being biased or anything. That's just the potential that he has. He's not close to being the best in the world at the moment, but maybe in the future. But then he has to start playing 10, actually, and that starts with the Stormers. But then it's like, what do you do with Marnie?
It's a good headache to have, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I've got one thing from that game that I noticed. Do you know where I think the Lions lost it? Was the last penalty they kicked to the posts when they almost scored. The Stormers did like unbelievable scramble on the line and kept them out. There were 7 minutes to go, and they chose to go for the posts. And everybody always talks about when you don't kick your points, how that costs you in games. But not going for the try cost them that game. Because their
lineup was sensational.
Yeah, the lineup was running really well. And if they backed themselves, and I think they probably would have scored a try. And then when the balls go down the other end, the picture is completely different.
I agree,
that sums up Edinburgh's season. We've won so many games. Sorry, just going on a little side note, I forgot to mention it. We won a lot of games this season without a bonus point because we decided to kick for the sticks instead. We've got a big pack. You and Ashman, if he's on the tail end of it, 90% of the time we'll score, and we just don't do it. We get to 3 tries and go, that's fine.
I just want to give a special shout out to JC Pretorius that came from the Sevens, that plays now for the Lions. Yeah. That guy is the young Quagga Smith. Like he is, I'm not even joking. That guy is sensational. You don't see it a lot, but he was man of the match for the losing team. Right? at a breakdown, he's an absolute monster. The guy is unstoppable. Looks like he's never going to get tired. Have you guys realized you get some players that almost look too stupid to get tired? Like it just feels like this guy's brain doesn't work. It doesn't tell him, listen, I can get tired. Pieter-Steph du Toit is one of those guys. That's why he makes 40 tackles a game. Like there's no fatigue in the guy. JC Pretorius is the exact same, and he will be a future Springbok. And listen, I'm telling Dobbo, make my year and sign JC Pretorius and get rid of Joseph Dweva. Yeah.
Okay.
And Similani. Both of them gone.
There you go. Devin making all the moves now.
Yeah.
Um,
Give me in the staff.
Munster versus Ulster. What a comeback. That I don't think anyone was expecting to happen. Don't think anyone expected Ulster to be that far ahead at half-time. But
they've really picked up some confidence.
It's a derby at the end of the day.
And I want to ask Andy, because obviously Ulster's really picking up some confidence. They kind of picked up confidence after their performance against the Stormers, and they've really gone upwards from there. Obviously got the victory over Leinster as well.
Yeah.
Put up a great performance. They'll feel like this Munster game was a win with the way that they played. Obviously, they didn't see it through in the end. But now, obviously, with a bit of a voodoo over Leinster with the Ulster thing, are you kind of shitting it a bit going into this quarterfinal with with Ulster?
Definitely a little bit. Like, I think the new coach and just obviously like freshening things up at Ulster's made a big difference. Like the body language is so much better. They look like they're enjoying themselves. They did Leinster in the league a couple of weeks ago. But with a stronger team, with everyone available, and because they were able to pick some of the fringe players against Connacht, people will be coming in fresh. You would have to, it would be a real bottling if Leinster lost it. Like this would be a real, even for Leinster, this would be a bad one.
Would you say, how would you think the guys' mindset is after the final loss against Toulouse, going up against Ulster now as well? Because Leinster's win record hasn't been the best in the past couple of weeks. Like, obviously, bad tour to South Africa. Caveat, they didn't play their strongest team at all. I think they played like a C or D team, but it's still like on the record. Having like, I think it was 4 out of 6 games that you lost. That's not the best look. And the confidence of the squad wouldn't be the best, even though it wasn't necessarily the best players. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I don't think you can. There's definitely a plan. I think like all of this was decided in advance. I don't think they were making decisions as they went at all. I think they looked at what games they were going to target, and you look at how you can balance Europe and all of that stuff. But after I wonder how they feel after the Toulouse match, because it was a really good game. It was pretty close in the end. Toulouse were a bit smarter. I think that's why they won. So they would have been disappointed, but I don't know. I feel like they must be desperate to win something. Like the way the season's played out, they've got to get themselves to a semi-final. They've got to at least go and try and win at Loftus to salvage anything from the season.
We don't want to make early predictions, but that would be game of the season.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Leinster full team against Bulls full squad at Loftus. Because I want to talk about the Bulls game in a second, but like I wouldn't put it past Ulster to actually go and do it against Leinster. I think they've got a bit of confidence against Leinster now, and they will make this game ugly, to say the least. This could be the worst game of the season if Ulster get it their way. Just ugly, kick your penalties, kick to the corner, tight. So
drum resets for days, boys.
Yeah, we'll see. I do think though there's like a thing around Leinster where just when it looks like things might wobble, everyone kind of starts to go, ooh, everyone's anticipating something going wrong. And like they're going to pick the Ireland team at the weekend. Like it's going to be a very, very strong team. But
full strength team from here on out. Has to.
But you never know. You never know. It's knockout rugby, it's a derby. You really never know.
Yeah, well, surely Leinster don't go, and everyone calls them to do the double for the past 4 years. And they haven't done a single trophy in the past 4 years or whatever.
No.
Like,
they
come on.
The shield, the Irish shield.
But the hazard of
That's
trying to
bomb fluff.
The hazard of trying to fight on 2 fronts, of really trying to focus on 2 tournaments. is you have to rotate your squad and you can't plan for everything. And I think the problem is, especially since the South African teams came into the URC, it's really not as easy to long finger the URC anymore. Like there's some really good teams in there now. So it's definitely harder to challenge on two fronts.
I want to ask you a question, Andy. Like obviously this weekend's performance was, I think it was clinical, very mature. You literally controlled the whole game. Leinster never looked like they were in any trouble against Connacht, which was very impressive, obviously. But do you think like Leinster is almost their own worst enemy in terms of they've got insane squad depth, but they almost rotate too much, like that kills the chemistry of the team? Because now you're going into, let's say for instance, the playoffs. Let's say you get past the hurdle of Ulster and you have to go and play the Bulls at Loftus. You've rotated so much. Your full strength team hasn't really played a lot of games together necessarily. And the Bulls have played almost every single game. You know exactly who's going to wear what jersey and run out onto that field. Do you think that could bite you in the arse a bit? Or do you think you got the rotation under control?
I mean, I'd worry about the altitude before I worried about that. But do you know, it's an interesting one because like there was always a perception before with Ireland that like, because of the central contract system, the big players don't play. And then we go to a World Cup and all of our big players play more minutes than anybody else. And then you come into it every season with Leinster, they're chopping and changing the whole way through the season. They get to a Champions Cup final, they lose by a point to La Rochelle. And all of a sudden, everything that happened the whole way through the season, there's this negative cloud cast over it because they lost that big prize game. So it's like, they keep getting to finals. They keep being in the mix. So the policy can't be that bad because it's working 99% of the way. And then like, is the problem in finals that there's not enough minutes in people, or is it that there's this kind of hoodoo and it feels like a monkey on the back for all the players and they freeze up?
But surely you understand why people think it's a bit of a failure of a season then, right? Because if you are the favorites and everyone's calling you to win it and finally get it over the line and you have got 3 finals in a row, like, then it's like we have to win it now. If you don't win it, then then it is a failure. Like, because it's quite kind of below expectations. Like that's why we always have standards for everything. That's why for Edinburgh, it's amazing to place in the top 15 because they are shit. It's just one of those things. So it's above their normal standards. But yeah, for Leinster, obviously they have different standards. They need to win. They need to win silverware.
Time out. I haven't spoken 5 minutes. You were on about Leinster. What? Fuck you.
It's kind of just a way to get you into the conversation, to be fair.
I was listening. You were making good points. I didn't want to interrupt. And then Devin triggered me. Dickhead. Anyway. Yes.
That's the question. Yes, the season will be a failure unless they go and win the URC, probably.
There we go.
And you didn't do yourself any favors by not placing higher in the league, because now you actually have to go away and play some games.
But fine margins, right? If one of those breaks in normal time against Toulouse, if the Dan Sheehan 90-meter break, if they score a try from the end of that, could have been very different. We'd be having a completely different conversation.
Yeah, if LaBelle had one brain cell and popped the ball inside,
well, that's true.
We would have had the same conversation as we're having now. So.
Yeah. But the point I'm making is the margins are fine.
Yeah, of course. It was a scintillating game anyway.
Both ways.
Yeah. Okay, Murray, you can have the floor again.
I'm all good. You said you wanted to mention Bill Sharks quickly, or have you kind of brushed over that now?
Oh, just in light of if Leinster had to play the Bulls, I am scared for the Bulls in that second half because they keep on dropping off in the second half. They are so good. They are literally, they feel like the best club team or franchise team in the world in the first half.
That's 49
right? Obviously, it's exaggerated, but they do not make mistakes in the first half. And as soon as that starting lineup goes off the field and the bench comes on, their bench is wank. It is horrific. It is something of nightmares. Look at every team coming back. Glasgow coming back. Benetton coming back. Sharks having them on the ropes. And it's not the Shark starters that had them on the ropes. It's literally the Shark bench that came on. The guys that were hungover from last weekend and stuff. It's not the Springbok players or anything. Like, seriously, they've got to sort that out. Or it's going to be one of those cases where they might be in the lead against Leinster again. Let's say 10 points, 5 points, whatever. And then in the end, Leinster win by 28 points. That is because the Leinster bench is ridiculously good. Internationals. The Bulls bench is literally, I don't even know. I do not Namibian squad worthy.
What did Namibia do? Gee, oh my!
I'm just naming a bad team. I'm
He's
just naming a bad
picking
team.
violence tonight.
Yeah,
No,
it's one of those
no
things.
prisoners left behind.
I think so much of it against the Bulls is how much do you concede in the first half an hour. And if you can limit them to like 2 tries in the first half an hour, then you kind of know just hang in there. Like
Yeah.
just be in the game for 20 minutes and then it's going to open up.
The Bulls have got to find a way to not even bring on a sub, unless it's Akker van der Merwe who's the hooker. Get boys to play 80 minutes. That's what they got to do.
There you go. Shall we predict the quarterfinals then, boys, before we move on to the other 2 comps that we cover on RCP? You've already kind of touched up on 2, but we'll credit where credit's due. Friday Night Lights. Munster, the league leaders, hosting Ospreys. Nobody expected the Ospreys in the mix. We got to love it, but yeah, fairy tale's finished. Munster's getting the big win. Sorry.
Yeah, from Judgment Day to Doomsday, they'll suffer.
I love that.
Very good. I'm with you.
Hey, he's on fire tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I like that. Yeah, Munster for the win. They're looking to go back to back, and
they might.
They might. Not impossible. They have got a few inches now, though.
Yeah.
My boy's hurt. Alex Nankivell's out.
Well, yeah.
And Rory Scannell's now out as well.
Mate, if you've got Snyman and Tyg Byrne,
that's all right then.
Your quid's in.
Over to Loftus. I'm actually kind of glad we've dodged a bullet because me and Devin talked about this last week. Bulls Benetton. Bulls. Sam Loftus.
Yeah. Benetton will win the second half, but they'll still lose the game.
Still not enough, yeah.
Yeah. The Bulls will. I just hope the Bulls actually get it right this time and survive a second half. So I've got the Bulls to do it quite comfortably. Because if you they're such a strong team. It is at Loftus. It's altitude. Benetton, they literally played now in South Africa. Benetton has to fly from Italy to come and play. They won't necessarily. They'll maybe be in the fight for the first couple of minutes and then drop off, in my opinion.
And then come back and I know what you mean. Bulls, but Bulls are winning.
Yeah.
Leinster versus Ulster. Can Ulster do a hat trick over Leinster? I don't know.
It would be the funniest. It definitely, for everyone who's not a Leinster fan, would be the funniest possible outcome. But I think Leinster should win it.
I think Leinster smash them.
I think now with how you can't obviously now not because the league's finished, but because you need to get silverware, you need to go full whack. Like you have already discussed, they're pissed off that they don't have that Champions Cup. It's fortunate to go against, and there's a derby as well. You're just fueling Dublin to go absolutely nuts. Is it at the Aviva or is it the RDS?
Yeah, it's at the Aviva.
Yeah, Leinster winning, doesn't matter.
I wonder.
Listen, they are going to put out a statement performance and they are going to obliterate Ulster. I think Leinster like this thing about being an underdog now. People are kind of, I wouldn't say writing them off, but they're starting to doubt them. And Leinster will know that. They know they need to get a statement win over Ulster. Ulster got very cocky after that win against Leinster's 8.5 team.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they'll obliterate them.
I reckon it'll be closer than that, but I think Leinster win.
Leinster by 21.
Yeah, I'll say by 18.
Maybe like 14 points, and then they score at the end again. I like that shot.
I could see something like that for sure.
To secure it.
Yeah.
And the last one, Glasgow Warriors versus the Stormers. Telling you, if it was like how Glasgow went against Zebre, the Stormers are getting a big win because that was.
We hate traveling, bro. We hate traveling.
When you hate traveling, it's fine, but I don't know. It's going to be an absolute battle.
If this was full season long, I'd probably say Glasgow win it. But if you look at the past couple of weeks, actually past couple of months, Glasgow slowly but surely just like dropped off and dropped off and dropped off. They looked nowhere in the game against the Lions.
No.
I know the Lions should have beat us as well, but I've actually got a bit of hope. I know we don't travel well, but back your team. You guys know back your team.
Good luck.
And we have been starting maybe to get a bit better. Monty Lebock's kicking boots is in. He's not missing kicks at all at the moment. So back your team. We know how to play in the big games. Just want us to get it done now.
Tell you what, it's a massive test for Glasgow because in Europe, when they got to the knockouts, they had to go away to Harlequins, but they were still the better team and managed to lose that game. And like Scotland and Scottish teams kind of have this nearly men sort of tag. And
I swear this is just a personal.
No, I mean, it's true though. And like Glasgow are in danger of starting to look like one of those teams, you know?
No.
They need to win this game. And they should. If they were playing like you say, if they were playing the way they were earlier in the season, I think they'd walk it. But just hasn't been as good.
Bit shaky since the knockout, really.
Yeah.
Back.
So Andy, who are you backing?
Oh, he's torn.
I am torn because I don't think either of them are looking brilliant, Nick. I mean, the Stormers were very good at the weekend with 14. But before then, I thought...
Yeah, Noama, by the way, we didn't even speak about it, but Noama nearly died. Like, that guy was out cold. That was massive.
I'm gonna say Glasgow. I just think being at home will do it because the Stormers have to travel. I think it's
fair
too
enough.
much. Yeah,
fair enough.
I'll go with that logic as well. There's not much in it.
Yeah, I think it'll be close.
It'll be a fun game from a neutral point of view. I'm debating whether or not to go just because I have nothing to do for the next 3 months.
Oh, mate, do it. Why wouldn't you?
Because it's Glasgow.
Yeah, but you can enjoy it if the Stormers win.
Yeah, you can watch Sasa. You can watch Marnie.
I do.
You can watch Evan Roos.
I do have a Stormers
beast.
And it's not the first, and it won't be the last time I go to Scotland round for the opposition.
Conspiracy. Evan Roos is playing 6 at the moment because Rassi told Dobbo play him at 6 because he's kind of moving on from Sia Kulisi to put Evan Roos in the 6 jersey for the box. Now, I've not seen any articles on it. That is just my feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you know
I'm not against it. The way that Evan Roos has been playing. Yeah.
He's
nicely.
Great.
Yeah.
I'll say Glasgow get the win. But if I'm in attendance, I'll wear Stormers jersey.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, we'll go down to the Prem because we don't have quarterfinals in the Premiership. We have semi-finals, and they didn't disappoint. Friday night, Northampton Saints versus Saracens. Courtney Lawes' last game at Franklin's Gardens. Owen Farrell's last game at Saracens, potentially, and it was right down to the wire, though. Oh my God, what a game! Saints march on to Twickenham, 22 points to 20. Let's talk about it because it's so good. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy this game.
I've mentioned this a couple of times, right? That we don't get the broadcasting rights, but that game was broadcasted here, and I was glued to my screen. That was a sensational game of rugby. Like, wow, end to end. Hey,
I was saying I like how both teams filled each other out, and then Barger Odendal we're just going right through yous. Don't worry about me. It's all good, lads. And then Owen Farrell.
What country is he from?
Oh, shut up! I'm gonna add like next season when we start from like the word goal.
Yeah.
Well, South African counter, and every time Devin says something, ding, 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 and then after it has a certain point, proceedings will go to charities and all that. Because
exactly. No, but all jokes aside, that was a sensational game. That was like, and as soon as you thought, okay, Saints is going to run away with it, Owen Farrell, first time ever I see him actually break a line and run with the ball. I've never seen this guy running. I swear, I've seen him use no arms in tackles and kick a ball and shoot drop goals. But absolute magic to kick to the wing, whoever that bum is that scored there in the corner. Open the game up once again. Brilliant game. That was game of the weekend above everything else. That was sensational.
I agree with half of what you said there. Yes, game of the weekend, but come on, put some respect on Alex Lewington's name.
Who?
He's underappreciated. He's
He is
so
an
good.
underappreciated player.
So good. He's retiring as well. He's actually
Yeah.
that's
Finished,
a
that was his last game.
sad. But how fitting is it that Courtney Laws was the man that holds it up right at the end?
So it was funny because he had a quiet game. That aside,
you could see how frustrated he was getting though.
Yeah, you could. Do you know what? There were a few turnovers that he could have been given, and the ref didn't give them to him. I was a bit surprised.
There was one, and the replay, you did feel sorry for him because he had it, and it's just like he slipped the minute he tried to rip the ball, and his foot slipped, so he went over, and they're like, "Yeah, you're not holding your own weight," and he's like, "What? What do you mean? Like, I quite clearly had the ball." But it was great. It was fun. Ollie Sightholm had a weird game. Like I felt like he could have scored with his little football skills, and he kicked it too hard. Tommy Freeman was great.
Does he have the potential to play for England?
100%.
I wonder if, because he's not the tallest.
No,
he's not like he doesn't drop many high balls, but it's not one of his big strengths to compete under the high ball. And I wonder if playing for a Steve Borthwick team, if you can have a winger like that, like I think the high ball is so crucial.
Yeah, every time I've seen him, I haven't seen him a lot, but he's sensational and he's massive. He's
so
a
good to watch.
Guy.
He's huge. He's rapid as well.
He's a steroid head. I'm telling you now. The guy's gonna get busted at some point. He's got that Apiwe Yankee freaking juice that he's popping every morning. That's cereal. They eat the same WhatsApp group. I'm telling you now.
Oh my God, he's just starting the pot massively tonight.
Yeah.
But you know what?
For reliable reasons, Ollie, I don't think you're on steroids.
For legal reasons, I don't want to get in trouble, and I'm pretty sure the Northampton Saints have my number. So no, I don't agree with what Devin said, and if it involves him never again asking a Saints player a question, I'm okay with that. Okay.
I don't know any of them.
There you go. Even better.
Woo.
You know what's weird though? I mean, we've said this so many times that there's only so many teams in club rugby that know when to win when it counts most. There was 90 seconds left on the clock, and Lucio Cinti got the try for Saracens, and I'm like, oh no, here we go again. And I even said to my dad, I was like, you're going to watch an Owen Farrell drop kick, and it's going to be the most like poetic thing ever. And then Courtney Laws went, it's all right, I've got it.
It says a lot about Sarri's mentality when everyone agrees the team isn't very good this year compared to where they've been, and they still push Saints within 2 points. The Saints have been the best team in the league all year.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That Finn Smith, he is proper good. His goal kicking is insane.
Yeah. And he's just so calm. Like he's a kid. He's young. He doesn't look at all. He plays like a really mature player.
How old is he?
Yeah, he's young. He's like early 20s, 20, 21, something like
that.
He's definitely young. Like surprisingly young.
Sorry, he's now 22 years old, but still.
22. There we go.
Well, he's getting old now. He's past now.
But yeah, him and Farrell was great to watch because Farrell had a really, really good game.
It almost felt like student teacher. I know they've never been in the same squad, but it did feel like that's how it came across to me. And
well, all of a sudden England has got like a nice situation to have. Like, do we pick Marcus Smith? Do we pick Finn Smith? Do we put Marcus Smith at fullback because he's been good at fullback for England as well? That's a nice problem to have. So yeah, fair play.
And they've got that kid coming in from New Zealand as well. The guy's going to Saracens. He'll be in the frame.
No, he's eligible for Scotland. No touch.
He's not going to pick Scotland.
He might do. I worked for Ben Healy. I know, jokes aside, I do feel sorry for him now. That he was promised something special.
Listen,
he's not played bad when he gets game time. It's just
you're just never going to play when Russell's fit. It's just never going to happen.
He's just not Finn Russell. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, cometh the man, cometh the hour, cometh the maverick. Finn Russell gets Bath to their first. That's mental to say that. Their first ever Premiership final. 31-23. over Sale Sharks at the Rec. It was a fun game. It wasn't as nail-biting as Saints Saracens, but it was fun in its own way.
Yeah.
Ben Russell doing a 51-metre penalty. Nice to see he's got range. I didn't think Finn had that range on him. That was lovely. It's just fun. Will Muir, speaking of like England call-ups or getting him capped, he didn't score, but he was everywhere. And that 50-22 was nice. Got to give credit for that. Joe Thockin, a singer, just causing rough shot. Big man on the wing, got to love that. Ollie Lawrence, I feel like Ollie had a quieter game for his standards. And you know who gets a lot of stick from England fans, but I think he's been fantastic all season for Bath? Charlie Ewels.
Yeah, been really
Give
good.
that man some respect. He's just going about his business and it's working, and I'm all for it. Beno Obano, what a resurgence in his career he's had. And with Anja injured.
Bath's whole tight five have been amazing this season. Like, it's been a real
100%. Does Beno Obano get that England call then? Genja's out injured.
Yeah, he's got to.
There is Finn Baxter as well, but I think it'd be nice to have Finn Baxter come off the bench. Maybe start Finn against Japan. And I'm not being like...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Maybe give him some minutes and then...
But Beno's bigger. He's had the experience. He's not had much experience, but...
With the Japan versus England game, that's obviously outside the test window. So are the Premiership guys released? Because England, you can't represent England if you don't play in the Prem.
Yeah. So they've updated the squad. The only ones that aren't available are Northampton Saints and Bath players. Oh. So you are getting a very strong, informed England team. You could go...
that's going to be a saucy game. The storyline with Eddie Jones.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Just because you said it, have you seen who his backroom staff is?
Owen Franks and Victor Matfield.
Victor Matfield, yeah.
Owen Franks is still playing, by the way. He's playing for the Crusaders now, and he's been selected as a coach. But to be fair, he's always been class, Owen Franks, when it comes to scrums and stuff. When you talk about, like, everyone talks about the South African dominance in scrums, like, he was part of the New Zealand scrum that really matched up well. So he knows how to do it when it comes to the props and the forwards coaches and stuff like that. So that would be interesting to see. Like, I like the fact that it is rebellious in terms of not getting certified coaches. Like, Victor Matfield has never been a coach. Getting him in, big job, just like saying, listen, I want to do something different. That's Eddie Jones is a national treasure. I love the guy.
Oh my God.
I hope he can get himself back on the rails, because the Australia thing really was a disaster.
It just went so wrong so fast in all angles. But just because we're on about the England squad there quickly, the squad that they've got for this training camp as of right now, very good. I'll be very excited with this. So the forwards are Finn Baxter, Dan Cole, Chandler Cunningham South, Ben Curry, Tom Curry, Theo Dan, Alex Dombrandt, Ben Earl, Greg Fieselau, Jimmy George, Joe Hayes, Nick Ezekwe, Maro Toji, Joe Marwar, George Martin, Gabriel Ogre, Bevan Rod, Ethan Roots, Rusi Toima, and Tom Willis, not Jack Willis, because we're not allowed him. Into the backs, you have Charlie Atkinson, Joe Carpenter, Manny Feo-Loboso, George Ford, Max Malins, Luke Northmore, Rafi Quirk, Harry Randall, Tom Roebuck, Henry Slade, Marcus Smith, Freddie Stewart, and Jack Van Portfleet. Ooh.
Jack Van Portfleet even played a game.
Yeah, he's been good for Leicester this year.
Oh.
He came back quite fairly strong, yeah.
But they've got 4 days to try and impress the coaches, and then they announce the full squad next Monday. So a lot of those guys will drop out for the Saints and Bath players. It's just about who can fight for those edge positions.
Yeah. Fair enough. I know neither of you guys are English supporters, but if you had the chance to give Rob Dupree a cap for England, would you do it?
Would we cap Rob Dupree?
if you were English supporters and you guys watch the Premier a lot more, does he deserve to be capped internationally?
I think he might deserve it, but I think for the media side of it and for the optics of it, they can't cap him.
So I agree. I get where Andy's coming from. Yes, he deserves to get capped. No, he will not get capped. Not because of the media thing, just because I feel like there's better options kind of already there.
Because he's been playing outside centre, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're picking him as centre, you have Henry Slade. Well, he's not getting picked ahead of Henry Slade. There's Luke Northmore, who I've just mentioned at Quins, who's been absolutely on fire. There's Oscar Baird also at Quins when he's fit. There's so many options. Ollie Lawrence when he's back in.
That's what I mean, though. Can you imagine the outcry if they picked
Never
over a youngster? Like it just wouldn't look right.
No.
Yeah, fair enough. I was just interested to know because obviously there was a big discussion about should Rob du Preez, when we had that fly-off crisis, should he have been picked? And we picked Elton Yankees to come back in. Disgraceful. But yeah, so I was just wanting to know because obviously we don't see all the games. Like I was able to watch the Saints game, but not the Bath game. So I just like looked on Google and just kept myself updated with the scores. But it was an insane comeback from Sale. I think they were like 16 points behind, took the lead, and then just like choked.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Actually, I'm glad Devin did mention it. Tom O'Flaherty's try.
Brilliant try.
If you've got a winger going against the second row at the end, you are going to score it. But the setup to it was great. Quick hands off the counter attack. Joe Carpenter with a nice little chip and chase. He then got pulled out of the game, and Tom O'Flaherty just.
By the way, talking about underrated wingers in the Prem, Tom O'Flaherty's been excellent for a long, long time.
And it hurts because he left the Chiefs. It hurts. It still hurts.
I mean, he did a good job there. He was.
He did really well. He won a Prem. He won a Champions Cup. He was in team of the season. There was talk. There was rumours going around that he was eligible for like Ireland, Wales, and England, and just nobody picked him. I was like, well, Ireland can't pick him. I wouldn't
be surprised. He doesn't fit the profile, does he, for an international winger? Like they get very stuck in their ways of what they're looking for.
Yeah, but next week. Absolutely, 100%. Underappreciated, underrated, undervalued. Yeah. The final at Twickenham, Northampton Saints versus Bath. First versus second, they were level on points at the end of the regular season. So close to call. And it feels so weird to say that because if you look at how the season went, like Saints have been top of that table all season by maybe apart from 1 or 2 weeks, but still dominant performance
and a good run in Europe.
Very good run in Europe. Had an all right run in Europe. They kind of got stuck out at the.
They pushed Toulouse though in the groups.
They did.
In Toulouse.
Did they get to round 16? No.
No, they did. They lost to Exeter.
Yes, so they did because it was the really windy game in Devin. Yeah, they did. See how much games we've covered. That was only like a month ago. We've already forgot. Anyway. I'm so torn on this. I keep flip-flopping because at the end of the day, I'm happy regardless who wins. I feel like both teams definitely deserve their clamp and their stamp on their authority. The turnaround that Johan van Graan has done at Bath, I mean, I think I've seen it today, that they got absolutely pumped.
What country is he from?
There's the thing. I'm just going to add the sound now. Or like Boca, or I don't know. We'll think of something for a sound every time Devin mentions that. But I don't know. As of right now, I feel like Bath could edge it. Just based on how that semi-final went, I think. Like, yes.
I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm saying Saints.
You went for Saints. I'm good with that. I'm generally okay with that. But I
agree. Like the fairy tale storyline with Courtney Laws, he deserves this trophy. Yeah. And there's no way I'm giving Finn Russell a trophy. Like, no. There's no Courtney
Actually,
Lawson deserves.
for that
Saints deserved
reason,
it. They've had a better run in Europe. They've topped the league the whole time. They literally. I don't think Bath beats Saracens in that semi-final, where Saints they knew how much it meant. Saracens they are elite when it comes to playoffs. Like that's the thing. Like even we'll get into the Super Rugby now, but people were scared of the Crusaders, who's sitting in ninth, but yet they're like they could actually go and win this thing because when it comes to the games that matter, those teams win. And Saints did it. And that's why they will win the final. This is not a prediction. I'm telling you, Murray, they are winning the final.
You do realise that if you message me on Wednesday, it's just out of the blue, who's winning? I'll probably end up saying Saints. It generally keeps changing. But right now, as of recording on Monday evening at currently just shy of 10:15 UK time, I'm feeling like Bath. That's it. It might change during the week. I don't know. Wait till my prediction video on TikTok. Then it might be sealed.
I did want to say, if Bath win it, I won't be upset at all because I hate when players get beaten with a stick of they haven't won a trophy. If you're from a nation where you don't win trophies, it's so hard to come through a rugby career and have medals and stuff. So it would be nice for Finn to have a trophy. He definitely deserves one.
Have I done something to you boys? Like, it's just that was
pro Scottish.
What that didn't feel pro Scottish. I like it. It's not the worst thing that's been said this episode. You know what you've done. You know what you said. But yeah, it's still weird that Finn's never won. No, Finn's won a Pro 12.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, see, myth gone, myth busted already.
Well, fine, give him more.
Give him more. We need more of this. I don't even know if he copyrighted that, but he just does it all the time now. Throwing up gang signs left, right, and centre. Yeah, Bath for the win. Why not? Super Rugby. We had some late charge from the Crusaders, but it didn't work. But we'll get into that. Brumbies just beating the Western Force. 24-19. Blues getting a fairly comfortable win over the Chiefs, 31-17. Hurricanes just running right on the Highlanders, 41 points to 14. Fijian drew, winning Fiji. Dismantled the Rebels, 40 points to 19. The Reds got a squeaky win over the Waratahs, 27 points to 26. And the Crusaders dismantled Moana Pacifica, 43 points to 10. I've done the scores the wrong way around in the order, but oh well. Still works. It's fine. I ended up doing the Friday games last because of how it's written on my screen, but it's fine. Still worked. Where do you want to start, Devin?
Both Australian teams that won nearly bottled a massive lead.
Yes.
Like
100, the red one was really bad.
Yeah, like what the hell? I couldn't believe it. And who was it? Was it the Waratahs that had a kick at post?
Mess, yeah.
Maybe it was the Force where the guy like totally shanked it.
No,
like that
right.
would have given them the win. He missed it by like 40 meters. Did you see that kick?
Yeah.
He really kicked it out of touch. Like it's the worst kick at goal that I've ever seen in my life.
You could just hear leave the crowd. Oh, that's not quite. It was just like dead. But
that was good for the money that I bet on the games. So I didn't mind it.
Every time did you win money that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Every time Devin brings up betting, he loses because they got comfy and lose.
Well, I bet money on Edinburgh.
More fool you. I just tell you to back the team. I don't tell you to bet on it.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Shocking. That's kind of the reason for the whole rant at the start of the video.
Was that the whole reason? Because you lost money? That's not my fault. That felt personal.
Well, the loss felt personal.
I know. I've been there for all the highs and lows. I'll still be there for the highs and lows.
But yeah, anyway, to know that we will have a new Super Rugby champion after 7 years of it being the Crusaders, it's very exciting.
Might not last long, but
yeah, and everyone thought it's going to be the Chiefs, right? Because naturally they've always been the one pushing the Crusaders. Yet the Blues and the Hurricanes and even the Brumbies look better than the Chiefs at the moment.
Sure.
So this tournament is spicy right now because, yeah, obviously the top 8, you can say what you want to. It's not good or whatever. But as soon as it comes to the top 5 teams, that's as close as it gets. That is
good. Yeah. I feel like the quarterfinals that we're about to predict are very obvious picks. I want to say, without discrediting anyone, I love an upset as much as the next person, but I'm just going to read them out to you. Chiefs versus Reds. It's going to be the Chiefs.
Reds can do it.
They can. They absolutely can. I'm not saying they can't. I just feel like
the Reds are that one team. That's the actual close game because the Chiefs hasn't been that convincing, and the Reds, they shit against the bad teams, but good against the good teams.
So you're hoping it's tighter. We're hoping it's tighter then.
No, Chiefs are going to win.
The point. What is the actual point? Hurricanes versus the Rebels that are now finished, essentially. There's news. We can stir that in the now. But yeah, entered administration in January and got told, no, you're not coming back for 2025. So, quick question. Where does the Super Round go? Where all the teams play in the one venue over the long weekend? I have one idea, which would be fantastic. Fiji.
Big party. Want to give the Drew a chance?
Well, no, not just that. Just have it in Fiji. It'd be awesome to watch.
Yeah.
The time difference would suck, but
the time difference is bad anyway.
It's not bad. Friday morning's
like what, 3 o'clock in the morning for you?
It's the Drew game the other week kicked off at like 3 o'clock in the morning here.
I never see
they always have the early kickoffs. Like usually the games when I wake up, it's about at 9 the game starts, so it's actually a nice time to watch it. Like first thing in the morning, unless it's the draw, they play at 4 in the morning. No, forget about it.
But no, just for the Magic Round or whatever it's called, have it in Fiji, and it's also growing the game. Then,
yeah, I didn't disagree with it.
There you go. But Hurricanes Rebels.
No, Hurricanes.
Hurricanes.
I don't even think that's going to become close either. I'd be very surprised if it ran tight.
By the way, on the Hurricanes, like Billy Proctor looks like the best outside centre ever.
Yes.
Like, holy shit, he's good. That guy definitely plays for the All Blacks this season.
That's the mix.
Hey?
I'm saying he has to be in that mix, yeah.
Yeah, because we haven't seen Rico Ioane too much, which opens up that outside centre spot. And obviously he plays with Jordie Barrett, so they've already got that chemistry. And he's ridiculously good. Like, he carved the Highlanders up and ate them for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I don't even care. Like a proper Gatsby. The guy was running holes through everything. Anyway.
Oh. Speaking of Rico Ioane, the Blues are hosting the Fijian Drua. That's not in Fiji, so the Blues are getting a big win in Auckland.
Yeah.
Hate that is how it works. I hate how bad the Drua travel.
And listen, they've been putting up a lot of points on everyone in Auckland. Like it's been a fortress. I've smashed literally everyone.
And we're going to get a century because the Drua are that bad on the road.
Yeah.
Final game, Brumbies versus the Highlanders, and it's another fortress in Canberra. Brumbies for the win.
Yeah. Rugby news.
Rugby news. Well, England named their squad that we went through. Wales have also named their squads, but this is this is the squad, I believe.
Yeah, much closer to the squad. Yeah. Have they got anyone playing for in the Premiership? They haven't, have they? In the final?
No, they're all good. I thought that, especially for the South Africa game, they weren't going to get Tommy Rafael.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, I think that's true.
That's so true, is it?
Yeah.
What's the point? I don't get this. I've never understood this rule. I understand if your team's in the mix of like a final or semi-final or something. Leicester Tigers are doing nothing. Exeter Chiefs are doing nothing. Just let them go and play rugby. Anyway, the most interesting call that caused a big stir over on TikTok when I posted it. Corey Hill and Liam Williams getting called back from Japan, but Corey Hill especially, who's in like the 4th division in Japanese rugby, has got an international call. I believe it's because, like you said it on your video as well, Andy, that Seb Davies getting a red card probably hasn't helped. but
yeah,
there's got to be some second rows in Wales. Surely, Christ.
I tell you what, I thought was the big call. Only one out half.
Yes, I did. I didn't actually notice it when I posted it. I was like, yeah, good squad, but weird seeing going out. And then somebody was like, only one out half. I was like, that can't. And I read it, I was like, oh
What's an
no.
outer half?
A fly half.
10. Fifth,
I'm-
eighth, 5/8.
Five eight, yeah.
That's, I don't understand when Aussies and Kiwis say that. Like, what is that?
I think it's like 2 players who can cover 10, but it seems like a risky thing to do. Especially Costello's been injured before, you know? Like,
And he's bad.
well, he gets so much stick online. Can you imagine just getting dropped in it in your national team when they're having the worst time they've ever had, when the team can't do anything? Like, he could have been having incredible games and it wouldn't have changed their Six Nations. Like, they still would have lost. They still would have lost all their games.
Yeah, but let's not act like he's been playing decent when he played for Wales. Like, I remember that game against Italy. I thought this guy must be the worst 10 I've seen in my life. Like, I'm pretty sure he's good, right? That's why he got the call up. But you got to step up a bit more if you get the call up. Like, that's the big thing.
There's nothing worse than playing 10 and your team's on the back foot. Like, so few 10s look good when their team's getting monstered around the park. It's so difficult. I mean, I'm not telling you he's been great either. But
it's been a really weird season for Welsh rugby.
It's been bizarre. Like
Ospreys, I know Ospreys are now in the playoffs. It hasn't been the most convincing. It was very like result dependent, was it not?
Yeah, they needed a few things to go their way.
Yeah. But come on, Morgan Morris not in that team. He's been fantastic for the Ospreys. Ruben Morgan Williams at scrum half has been very good. Max Nagy, when he's back fully fit, he would have been a nice option. I am very happy to see Josh Hathaway. That's a very good signing for Wales because they've actually done it the opposite way. Because he was England under 20s.
Yeah,
he scored like a hat trick in like 7 minutes. It was unreal, absolute raw pace. So I was like, oh, well, that's England's next Henry Arundel because that's like the same route there. And then everyone's like, he can play for Wales. I'm like, yeah, but Theo Bosso is Welsh and he's picked England. So, and no, Josh Hathaway's away to Wales. So yeah, you know what? Fair play. I rate it.
I don't think England will mind that much, seeing as they got Theo Bosso. I think they're pretty happy.
I think they're all right. Depth wise, yeah. You're allowed to let 1 or 2 slips through.
No, it's always going to happen.
Especially in the UK, which people keep forgetting. It's not a big place. It might be 4 countries, but we're very small. People move a lot for work. Like Andy's Irish, but he lives in London. That's not through choice, I don't think. Is it through choice? Did you choose to live in London?
I'm looking for work, but I can get home to Dublin quicker than I can get to some parts of England. You know, it's very near.
There you go. See, it's convenient. There you go. But like, people move, people integrate. Like Scottish people get married to English people and have kids that grew up in Wales, and yeah.
No, it gets very complicated very quickly.
Yeah, it's a mess. That's fun. It makes when you get a young up and comer eligible, you're like, oh, who's winning this race?
Lots of chances to play international rugby.
Lots of chances.
You're a good young guy with some Scottish and Welsh in you, loads of chances.
Listen, if you're from the UK and you're a young up and comer, you cannot bugger up getting an international call because there's 3 options. Maybe 4 if you're lucky. If your granny's from Dublin, you're even
you're all set.
Yeah, sorted. But it's a good squad. It's the best you could pick.
It's hard to imagine how he could have picked a different squad and you'd like their chances a lot better. Like, it's still going to be a really tough tour for them, no matter what happens.
I was really thinking that like the Wales Australia part was going to be like who cares at the time, like when it was announced. I'm really liking it now because
I'm excited for it too. Like
a young Welsh team with a point to prove and a new wall be set up under Joe Schmidt. Oh yes,
mate. He's gonna come into the Wallabies, bring some structure. That's all they need. Is like just better instructions. I think it was a bit of a free-for-all under Eddie. And if they can get that, like, that team could improve a lot very, very quickly.
Actually, just stick with the Rebels quickly, because they are folding. Where do you see like the big hitters going? I know Taniela Tupou's rumored to be going to Leinster. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet.
I can't. They can get him and Barrett in the same year. I just can't see that.
Could you imagine the uproar from the other provinces if that happens?
Yeah, it would be mad.
Andrew Kelly's up for grabs, everyone.
Johnny May wouldn't like it. Johnny May keeps on talking about finances in rugby and how certain teams cost 3 to 4 times more than the other ones.
I'm not allowed to talk about Johnny May because I lost my old account to that.
What?
Right, so if you follow me on TikTok, it's Blissful Rugby HQ 2.0. There's a reason there's a 2.0. It used to just be Blissful Rugby HQ. I went on some 20-second rant. Somebody commented on a video that like Ben Youngs is the most overrated England player. And I replied with, no, that's Johnny May. And I done a 20-second video. It got like 30,000 views. And I just shat on everything about Johnny May. And within 2 days, my account was permanently banned.
What a crybaby. What an absolute weak guy. He's terrible. He's only good under the eyeball. I mean, seriously.
No, I didn't
crying
even
about
know,
everything.
I didn't even know place for that.
Johnny May is crying about finances against a team that is 13th in the URC. Have you ever heard of it? And then talking about finances like South Africa is this financial superpower. Have you looked at the exchange rate, bro? Calm down, sit down, shut up, okay? The guy's an idiot. Okay, yeah, seriously, that has to be up there with one of the stupidest rugby comments that I've seen in my life. Like, seriously. And he's acting like we're buying players from abroad. Literally, our boys are representing their province now. Wow. Like, it's just full of
how dare they? How dare they? How can they sleep at night?
Yeah, seriously. He's got to pipe down.
I think if he could have that moment back, he wouldn't say that again. Probably.
No.
Fair play if he doubled down on him.
I mean, that would be funny. But you know what? If you double down on anti-South Africa stuff online,
yeah, go for it, mate.
You're going to get the consequences of that. They're loud.
Anything in general, though, if you double down on something absolute farcical, you know what? Fair play if you actually believe that. Then,
I mean, it would have been fine, right, if he spoke about Toulouse or I know Leinster's got a lot of academy players, but you have bought Jordie Barrett and like there's a lot of money invested in Leinster or even Racing. Like they bought Siya Kolisi, Arundel, Owen Farrell. You're talking about our boys coming back to our country. Vincent Koch. Okay, well, even Etzebeth has come back. But like it's not like we're buying the best from everywhere and putting them in a team. Like it's literally our own players. Like seriously.
His team lost. Yeah, I think he was just a bit upset and probably got the better of him.
He's used to losing in big games. He's used to this by now. I'm not using that as an excuse for him.
I'm so not ready for the comments on this tomorrow.
Murray, nothing to do with you and me.
I'm fine. I've cleared my.
What's he gonna do? Just
cancel the account again.
So what? He's an idiot.
I can't do a 3.0. Just got to. Come on, man. Anyway, that's the rugby news. Johnny May doesn't like South African franchise money, but there isn't any. But anyway, Welsh teams are out. English teams are out. Kind of out. We've got a final next week. We've got quarterfinals next week for both Super Rugby and the URC. A champion will be crowned next week in the Premiership. Will it be Bath? Will it be Saints? It's got to be one of them. Maybe extra time. Go again. Who knows? We loved an extra time final the last time. It's stacked. We've got some sevens. France have won the sevens series because they've changed the setup. Anton Dupont got Rookie of the Year. Come on. The Wallabies Australia women won the 7 series. Well done them. Maddie Levi, friend of the show, 150th try, 69 tries for the season. Are you kidding me? What an unreal athlete she is. And they're just getting better and better. Hugo Keenan's now caught up with the Ireland Sevens. He's back in the mix.
Just quickly, before we end, what do you guys think about all these 15 players going to play sevens?
Oh, me and you spoke about this last week. I said, like, it doesn't bother me, but I understood that you feel for those that have been on that 7 circuit and like put their graft on the sevens and then lost the spot because DuPont wants to play the sevens.
Yeah.
You have to let DuPont do whatever he wants, though. He's
No.
the one. He's the one name.
I made this video on TikTok. This is so Devin will love it because it's South Africa related. You have caused a storm in World Rugby that I don't think anyone can survive.
What's that?
Springboks beat France on home soil in the World Cup quarterfinal in October, and since then, Antoine Dupont has went, "Fuck this! I'm going to play sevens. I'm going to win the Olympics. I'm going to tear it up with Toulouse. I've got my Champions Cup. I'm going to win the top 14 again, probably. I've already won the first leg of the World Series for France in 16 years. We've just won the World Series for the first time ever. We've got the Olympics next. I'm going to win that for my country just because the Springboks beat us at home. You see what you've done."
Listen, if we want to open the gates for 15s to go and play sevens, put Kwagga Smith back in there, put Werner Kok back in there, put in Grant Williams, put in Damien Willemse, and we will smash these guys. Like, seriously.
If you were to draft in one that I could see realistically happening, Werner Kok, 100%. I would love to see that.
Yeah, and Kwagga made his name in sevens, right?
I know. We did it last week. You named
and
off the
Daimani. There you go. Bring the cup back home. That's where sevens histories with the Blitzbox. But all of them moved over to 50.
They're not bringing guys back in. I mean, I think DuPont on a personal level wants to win an Olympic gold, but the main strategy is eyeballs, right? Like it's not about juice in the sevens teams as much as it's about trying to get people to watch the sevens.
Probably. I'll watch the sevens when I can.
Sevens is amazing. Good money.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're gonna sell that to people who are just watching the Olympics, you know how everyone pretends to get into swimming for 4 weeks. Like if everyone's doing that, but with sevens, you need superstars.
400 meter relay medley. Sorry, whatever it's called. See, I don't even know. I can't even pretend.
Yeah, but let's not act like Hugo Keenan is this massive draw to the sevens.
He is if you're an Irish rugby fan.
Really?
Yeah, he's a superstar. He plays in the national team. Let people watch that.
Do you want to watch Hugo Keenan? Yeah, right. He's on the sevens.
He has a sevens background as well. So he's not like they haven't just parachuted him in. I mean, they have, but he used to play sevens.
I mean, you want to talk about people making their name in sevens? Give us Chesy Colby back. Put him in there.
See, I don't know why you wouldn't do that. If you could make that work, that would be amazing.
JB Williams done that. We've brought in Ellie Kildon.
We'll let others win for once.
You win like the Commonwealth and then just disappear. It's so weird.
Yeah. And what is it? I think is it the Dubai Sevens.
You love the Dubai Sevens. You go back to
always
3 years in a row or something.
We won the Dubai Sevens. A week later, we placed like 10th.
And you won, and it was another case. You absolutely bombed it, yeah.
Anyway, Murray, wrap it up, please.
We're all good. Yeah. Sevens is booming. We've got the finals. We've got knockout rugby. It's all fun. We're all going to be back next week. Probably lots more to talk about. Probably more controversial comments. You know who. But it's been a Rugby Connection podcast. It's always been fun. We're on YouTube. So hit the subscribe button. Hit that little notification bell because we're on 2 channels on YouTube. Rugby Connection Podcast, Casual Bias Rugby. We're on Spotify. We're on TikTok. Follow Andy at Rugby Nos. Follow Devin at Casual Bias Rugby. And follow me at Bus for Rugby HQ. You can follow the pod on TikTok as well at RCP. Nice and easy. We're all on LinkedIn, I believe. If not, I've tagged the wrong Devin in the last episode, but hey ho, we make mistakes. Until then, enjoy the rugby, enjoy your week, and we'll see you next time.